A wise man once said that education is the great engine of personal development. It is through it that the daughter of a peasant can become a doctor, that the son of a mine worker can become the head of the mine, that the child of a farm worker can become the president of a great nation. It is what we make out of what we have, not what we are given, that separates one person from the other. Now, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. No country can really develop unless the citizens are educated. It's that simple. Young people must take it upon themselves to ensure that they receive the highest education possible so that they can represent us well in the future as future leaders. It is rather unfortunate that millions of African youths and children are out of schools. Good and quality education, which is supposed to be basic right for every African child, is only available for the rich and the elite. In Nigeria, for example, the educational system is at its lowest ebb. Incessant strikes by ASUU and the labor union is now the norm. It is almost impossible for any student currently in the Nigerian Federal State University to complete a 4 or 5 year program without interruption or a strike. So sad. The amount of resources and budget allocated towards education each year is definitely insufficient, and under a corrupt system will hardly trickle down to the area of need. The recent kidnapping and insecurity has further worsened the situation, and even the private universities that are immune from incessant strikes are now faced with these menace. The elite and political class are known to send their children abroad to the best education, but this terrible situation is forcing not just the elite, but even the middle class to exploit affordable options abroad. Turkey has become one of the prime destinations because of the tuition fees, cost of living, and high quality education. In this video, I'll be speaking with a consulting firm here in Turkey to speak on this issue. My name is Zhiyun. If this is your very first time watching, please do us a favor, click the subscribe button and make sure you leave your notification bell turned on so you get notified each time we post a new video.
For a Nigerian who is interested to study here in Turkey, one of the most important things you need to have is your passport. Because without your passport, you cannot leave your country. So you having a passport is the first thing. And then as a student, perhaps you must have finished your secondary school, which is obtaining your WAEC certificate or your NECO. So it is still very important. And then the same secondary school you finished, you must have also obtained testimonial, which is the certificate given to you in your secondary school. So these three things, your passport, your WAEC or your NECO, and then your testimonial, these are the basic things a student who is interested to study for undergraduate need before he or she can proceed for any application. Okay, and then for masters, we need also your passport. The very important thing, your passport, your WAEC is still important. And then you also need to have your diploma certificate, which is your BSc. Here they call it your diploma certificate, and then the transcript is very important. And also from Nigeria, it is very important you must have finished your NYSC, because their embassy requires that document to be sure that you've graduated from the university before you can proceed for master. But here for application, it is not really important. The NYSC certificate is not important, but for you to obtain a visa in any country you are, you need, like in Nigeria for instance, you need the NYSC for you to obtain the visa to Turkey. And then for PhD, you need your WAEC, you need a diploma, which is your BSc certificate, the transcript, and then the master's diploma certificate, the master's transcript, that is. And then some institution requires a motivational letter, which is a letter to show that why do you want to study this course. You understand me? And then a reference letter, which is a letter from either of your professor in your university or any of the companies you've worked with. Just a recommendation to prove that you are eligible to further your studies. And then also they need a curriculum vitae, which is the CV we all know. So this is on request. It's not all universities require that, but there are some universities here that require those additional documents. I think those are the basic things a student needs for him or her to proceed.
In some schools, they don't give the student their transcript, okay? So to study in Turkey here, most of the schools accept the student to email the transcript to the school email. Like they can send it, and that schools in Nigeria, most of the schools in Nigeria, they send the transcript via DHL or to an official email that carry info. Probably, let's assume gelishim@yahoo.com, you know? So even if you don't have the official transcript, you can still study in Turkey. Then you can just give the email of the school to your school in Nigeria, and they will fax it to the school in Turkey here. 90% of school in Turkey actually they lecture in English. So Turkish is a second language. So it's not something like you must speak Turkish to study here. No, you don't. Even if you don't speak Turkish, most people they started from undergraduate to PhD level, and they don't even know what is merhaba. They can't even speak Turkish. So it's not like it's only when you choose to study in Turkish language based on scholarship. Most people prefer to study in Turkish language because they want scholarship, government schools. Then you need to speak Turkish for you to be able to acquire that scholarship, which it will give you the edge to study free without paying tuition fee in Turkey.
Well, you know, when you're talking about top 5 schools you will consider in Nigerian, another thing we should look at, most Nigerians prefer to go look for schools that are affordable. You understand me? Now, if you're talking about the the prestigious universities, there are good ones like Bahçeşehir University is a very good university. At least it's one of the ranking universities in Turkey. Talking about Istanbul Bilgi University, talking about Kotor, and some other universities. Istanbul Aydın University is also good. And then talking about Istanbul Gelishim University, and there are a lot of them. But you know, as an agency, educational consultant, one of the things you should also look at, which is having the minds of the student, is in the area of the tuition, because most of them have a price range. That's what the tuition fee range. So if they can be able to afford that, and also the school is in the aspect of recognition, it's good. Because if the school is well recognized all over the world, even though it is not one of the top 10 here, is still affordable and is this is recommended for any student who wish to study here in Turkey.
There's a lot of scholarship in Turkey, and Turkey we have different portals where you can actually apply for scholarship. You know, like I said the last time, is like the Prime, they give us, maybe some schools choose to give us 5 slots to give scholarship to whosoever we wish to give. You know, in this aspect, it's the company that is offering scholarship to students. This is one aspect. And the other aspect is you might be qualified for scholarship in the sense that you have maybe all your credentials are very okay, and then maybe school look at your educational background and they are satisfied. Now, some students here, maybe probably they go for the examination and they did very well. School can choose to give them scholarship, you know. So you can apply for scholarship through online, but that does not make you you are not guaranteed, like you don't have this assurance that they will grant it. But some agencies, some firm choose to offer scholarship to students willingly.
Yeah, and also to add to what Mr. Peter said, you know, also in the area of scholarship, there are scholarships that are based on merit, like the sport and the skills acquisitions. Maybe you're good in athletics, you're good in any sport. So the school sees that you are good, and you can be beneficial to the school. They can offer you a scholarship. But also let us have in mind that in private universities, they offer 50% scholarship, which is most private universities offer that. And because with the 50% scholarship and seeing you have a good skills, academically you're good, or you have any additional thing you can give to the school, because every establishment will always want to get something from you. You understand me? So you're good in sport, they can decide to offer you additional 25%, making it 75%, some 100%. So it depends on any area which they can oblige you the scholarship.
We both school in Turkey here.
Yes.
So do I school in Cyprus? He school in Turkey, right? So my average monthly allowance differs from him. So everybody, like even in every student have a different, I don't know, their allowance, monthly allowance. So
yes, the monthly
some choose to stay in hostels, you know.
Yeah.
Some choose to stay apartment outside. So it depends, it's personal. Like I believe monthly as a student, you should be budgeting $500. $500 is enough for a student in Turkey, even more or less. So
and also, you know, another thing students should also look out for, it is in the area the accommodation aspect. You know, there are some students who do not have the orientation in the housing when it comes to housing here. So some prefer to stay alone. Sometimes with the agent will tell them, do you wish to stay with somebody? You know, the more if you're staying with somebody will help you to bring down the cost, your expenses here. You might decide to stay with somebody and the renting will be lesser than when you stay alone. So you will still give them those orientation, and like an advice, if you wish to stay with somebody, probably a 2+1, you rent it and you share with a friend or your fellow classmate, or you wish to stay alone. Everything, it depends. And then also in the area of the most students, the orientation they've given them back home, they feel that this place, everything is fine, this and that, you know, their budget, everything about them in the expenses aspect, they feel that when they come here, the money is there. So, but what we can say, just as you said, $500 is enough, at least can sustain you for a month or even more, depending on how you spend it, because everything is in the area of the spending. If you're the type that spends too much, which means you will even finish the 500 before the time. I think the first important thing as a student is to go to the school. That is the first thing. You visit the university that gave you the admission, because from there your residence permit, because that is the only thing that will make you legal in the country as a student. The first arrival here, you go to the school, you get registered, do the necessary things and register so that you can be able to apply for your residence permit. But if you fail to do that, most of the time people have come to the office and saying that I came to the university and I don't know how to do my visa expired. So, and there's nothing, even the agent or the school, because school can never guarantee, even if your residence visa has expired, they can't guarantee. They will tell you go and come back, we'll give you supporting documents. So first thing you should do, go to the university, register whatever information they will give you there. You can start from there, or like we as an agent, we render those services. Maybe most clients bring students, the first thing we do, we still take them to the university, see that their registration is secured. From there, we'll proceed with their residence permit process. And I think I don't know if you have any other things.
In some cases, like during spring, you know, we have spring and fall semester.
Yeah.
Some cases, some students usually come late,
yes,
maybe due to delay at the embassy, right? Now, in that case, when you find out that you arrived as a student and the school is not on session, so what you should do is you can either register to a Turkish language, which is called TOME. Now with that TOME, you'll be able to get a resident permit, which is short term. Like that will take you for like 1 year. Probably you arrive maybe during April or May, and school session is over during February. You can get that short term. During September, you can go back to the school. Then school will change your short-term resident permit to student permit. So in that case, most likely, there are a lot of people in this country that have these similar issues. They arrive as a student and they couldn't meet up with the academic section.
Yes.
Now they just choose to relax and without doing anything about it.
Because
so
there was
in that
no
case,
information.
Just go to the school, register to a TOME, and get a TOEML certificate, apply for a resident permit, and you can still get a resident permit, even when the school is not on session. In Turkey, students can actually work, but it's legal. It's legal to work and study. I was working and I was also schooling. So, and in some cases, you need permission from your school. Maybe they can adjust your timetable. Some like normal student work, maybe you can work probably 8 hours, a day. But in this case, if you are a student, you can talk to your dean or your course advisor, maybe probably international office or student affair. They can help you out, probably to adjust your timetable, and then you can still work, because we all work and study in Turkey here, most of us. And though the job is not there, then when you come, with the grace of God and the help of friends and agency, you can find job. But not like there's a job await you, or there's a job at set side. Okay, as a student, you must get that job when you arrive to Turkey.
Well, when it comes to job, just as what he said earlier, there is not that there is 100% job. You don't give people 100% assurance that there is job, because most agents over there don't give them those orientation. They just give them, don't worry, when you get there is job waiting for you. So you have to let them know that it is not 100% that you will get a job, but coming over, there are still jobs you can do. Just as what he said, it depends on your timetable. So the job aspect I can recommend to them is, if your timetable is okay, suitable, because I cannot just give you that the advice or recommendation that yes, if your timetable is okay and you can work. Just like me, when I was going to school, there was no time for me to work because my timetable was so much. It was much, so I couldn't have time to work. So what I did, I engaged in agency work, recruiting of students and other things, which is a side job. It's not a formal job that I go out and get a job, but people, we are also working. So you can find a job in the factory, you can find a job even as a teacher, because here in Turkey, teaching job, at least it's a good a place where people earn money as a teacher. So if you find a job in schools or part-time teaching jobs, you can as well work. Or another thing, if I know of a friend who was a student also, and he was also working, but the most important, the good part of it is what he was good in the language. So if you're good in Turkish, at least you have the chances of securing a good job, either in your university as well or elsewhere. I don't know if you have any other thing to add to that.
Just like you said, part-time job, teaching job is still one of the best I can recommend for a student coming to Turkey, because part-time job, you can teach a day 2 hours, 3 hours, and they pay per hours. Or probably you can get a private tutor evening class for adults. There's this campus where they have adult classes, where I believe a university student who is going for undergraduate or master should be able to stand and tutor in private lessons. So I believe that can go as well.
And another thing you can also advise students is they shouldn't just have the mind that they're coming to work, because at least we can only advise them to work in summer, because they're coming as a student. First thing, you need to concentrate on your studies, because here from Nigeria, checking the exchange rate of our currency, that of the dollar, you can see that it is more compared to when you were studying in Nigeria. So the first thing you should do, first year you've paid, concentrate on your studies. During the summer, you can go out there, travel out of Istanbul, because most people prefer staying in Istanbul. They don't want to go in other cities to look for a job. So summer is also a good time. We can advise students coming over to study to work, because that time the school is on long vacation, 3 months that can sustain them until the school resumes. Yeah, there are schools, many schools accept installments, at least many schools, since in Turkey accept installments. Some accept 50% of it, some ask you to pay a certain amount to get admission. So the question you asked first, are there the range? Yes, it ranges from $2,000 and above, but mind you, depend on the university. All university tuition fee are not the same, it differs. Let's say for instance, in Istanbul SNU University, their tuition fee is $2,800. But because of the installment, you see that first they were given a 50% scholarship. It was $5,600, and due to the exclusive rights, as an agent, and as a student, you get a 50% discount. You're paying 2,800, and you are expected to pay instrumental. The first payment is 1,400. And other universities like my university I graduated from in Istanbul Aydın University, they pay undergraduates, they pay in 4 installments. If you want to pay in 4 installments, which is 1,000, we pay $6,000, 1,500, 1,500 each. Before, in each semester you have 2 times to pay. In each semester you have 2 times to pay. You see that it's 4 installments. Some universities accept 2 installments, while some accept 4 installments, depending on the tuition fee. Yes, it's yearly. It's yearly. Most of all the distance is yearly.
Usually there is no time frame in processing student visa. Now, some people submit Monday, or I think submission date is in Monday or Tuesday in Nigeria.
Well, I think it differs. Right now it's Tuesdays and Fridays.
Some people submit on Tuesdays and probably get answer on Friday. While some, and you know, after putting in application for, like at the embassy, you submit your acceptance letter from the school after paying your tuition fee, getting the document you needed. Okay. Now you get somebody who guide you, probably with consent letter, sponsorship letter, bank account statement. Then you proceed to the embassy, put in your visa fee and all that. Submitting on Tuesday, sometime embassy will send you a message stating that your passport is ready for pickup, but this does not guarantee your visa. So this means that they have acknowledged your document. So you have to wait for them. When it's approved, you will receive another message again. You say that your visa has been approved. Bring your e-ticket to pick up the visa. So probably just have it at the back of your mind, maybe in total 3 to 1 month in this process. If you have all your documents, probably if you have your bank account statement, if you have your sponsorship letter and all documents needed, excluding your tuition fee, just pay your visa fee and pay your visa fee, then that's all you need. The visa fees, how much is it now? I think, is it not $60?
Well, I think now it's $125 because of...
Is it the VIP?
Yeah, no, $125 because of, I think they said your insurance, you must obtain an insurance, which is $25. So that is the current visa fee. But another thing I will also tell us that we cannot decide here how much is it to process a student visa. The student or the agency that is applying the student might decide that. So we cannot tell you this is the fixed amount, but just as what he said, once you have all your documents intact, you have them, the students you've aside the tuition fee, you can get that at least. We cannot still give the amount.
I believe Ross estimate is just to, when all your documents is okay and your insurance is okay at the embassy, then the next thing is your visa fee.
Yeah.
So paying your visa fee, if most people don't prefer to go through agent.
Yeah.
This is just the truth. Now, if you go through agent, every agent charge differently, okay? Yes. Now, my service I will render might be included with, okay, picking up at the airport, probably going to get admission, pay the school fees, pay my Naira to my Naira account, then soft for dollar, pay your tuition fee here. You know, most agents put all these other expenses, like other charges all together to charge per student, okay? Now, if you choose to pay from your Naira account straight to the school account and you have all the document intact, all you need to do is to get your insurance and visa fee at the embassy.
No, not really, but when it comes to public universities, most of them requires TOEFL or IELTS. It is very important, and not just that. One of the requirements here, the universities here in Turkey requires is, they call it YOKS. You have to write the YOKS exam. For all government schools, you have to write YOKS exam. If you pass it, you can now because public universities, their tuition fee is very cheap, it's very affordable, most of them, but the only challenge there is the language. Just as he said earlier, the language aspect, you must learn the language for you to study in public university. Then in private universities is in English, but most of them don't require that. Some private universities still require either TOEFL or YOKS exam, the IELTS exam. Well, for undergraduates, 4 years here in Turkey, 4 years undergraduate, the masters 2 years, but it depends. Some masters have masters with thesis, which is 1.5 years. while master's with thesis is 2 years, while that of the PhD is 4 years. That is the normal duration for PhD, but it depends on your performance and with that of your supervisor. Some even finish in 3 years, so it depends. But for undergraduate, it's 4 years. And also another thing, it depends, because when it comes to the undergraduate, sometimes people finish in 3 years. Why? Because they take summer classes. If you can take summer classes, you can finish in 3 years or 3.5, because of that, some of the courses you take in summer, but the summer is very expensive. For you, it's 3 times. You have only 3 courses to take in summer. If you can afford that amount, then you can take summer courses, and some of your courses you will take in the normal semester, and at least it reduces the duration. You might end up finishing in 3 years, you might end up finishing in maybe 3 years and 3 months or thereabout, but it's 4 years undergraduates, 2 years masters, and 4 years PhD.
Students need a round trip ticket because this is the first time you are traveling, and not just having the round trip. You know, when you buy a round trip ticket, it's open for 1 year. So within the time frame, this 1 year period, you can easily go back home. When you arrive in Turkey, call the agent that bought the ticket for you to open the ticket in 1 year, okay? So it will last till 1 year time. So it's more, and it's cheaper, you know? It's far cheaper because one-way ticket is like, let's assume is 380,000. Why two-way ticket can actually be 450,000 naira? So it's more profitable to have two-way ticket. And the other one will be opened down in 1 year. You can visit back to your country within 1 year time. Yes. Then you have to contact the school again to issue the new student letter for you. And also you have to pay the visa fee again. Just like as you are starting afresh. Once your visa is denied at the embassy, now there's always this pink paper they give for rejection, like a rejection letter. So in some schools, you can get refund back. In some schools, you don't get refund back. Like some schools like Atimbash will tell you, you can reapply for the next session. Probably after 6 months, you can reapply. While some schools like Gelishim and other schools around like ID, you file in petition, probably letter to asking refund back. Some schools do refund, while some schools don't refund. I mean, in the sense that they will ask you to reapply again. You can reapply again, but you cannot get the money back.
Well, I think it's very, very possible that school can cancel a student residence permit. Now, a school cannot officially cancel, but because the school works with the Turkish government. Are you getting me? So if a student is not paying his or her school fees and is not attending classes, they will tell the student that, look, you apply, you have to take your classes, you have to. But some schools don't care about that. But the most important reason why they will cancel your residence permit is when you don't submit. There is a document they call the equivalency. That's only for undergraduate students. If as an undergraduate student, once you've or during your registration, there is one document which is the equivalency you obtain from the Higher Education Council. They have their offices in different parts of the state. Here in Istanbul, in Sultanahmet, you go there, you apply online, go with your document, which is your WAEC, your testimonial, and presently they are demanding for a transcript of your secondary school. You take them there with your passport, they process it, and they will give you a document to prove that yes, you are eligible to proceed for your studies. But if you don't, they will give you a duration to provide those documents. If you don't provide it, the school will cancel your admission, because the order doesn't come from the school directly, it comes from the Higher Education Council, because every directive comes from the Higher Education Council, which is the Ministry of Education, we all know, will be cancelled after 10 days. So if such a thing is done, you can switch to short term. But if you don't know, once it's cancelled and after the 10 days has passed, there's nothing you can do. You have to go and come back to the country with a new visa.
Yes, you can you know, when you graduate, they will give you your diploma, right?
Yeah, a temporary certificate.
Yeah, and from the day you graduate, you have 10 days to switch from student permit to tourist permit. Not waiting until you graduate. Most people, the mistake they make is you can be having tourist permit and still be a student. Now, most people make this mistake. They will just choose not to probably pay attention to it, not to attend classes, probably not to pay tuition fee just because they have students permit, you know. If you know you can't afford to pay tuition fee, why can't you just switch to tourist permit while you are still a student? Because I have a lot of complaints on my desk daily. People complain that my permit is being cancelled. They don't even know that school cancelled their permit. So what I advise people is, if you are coming to Turkey to study, focus on the education, go to the school, do all the, probably like this year now, 2020, most of the education is online. So you can spare time from your daily activity just to attend lectures. Even most people don't even have time to attend online lectures. So with all these reasons, your permit can be cancelled. So take note, even if you can't afford to pay your tuition fee, this is one of the challenges we are having in this country. Switch to tourist permit while you still maintain your student, still being a student and attend classes just to acquire the certificate. But let your still be active and being a student.
You know, most students prefer to have their student residence permit because of the privileges. As a student with a residence permit, you can apply for maybe the visa from here to any other countries, you know, all those things. So if you're not, so that is one of the things they have in mind, that we don't need to change to student. And also as the students on the road, the police stops, you have a student residence permit. Yeah, they feel that even if you're doing anything business you're doing here with a student, say, yeah, you're a student. That is the reason why most people prefer to have their student residence permit. And just as what he said, it is very important. If you can't afford your tuition fee and you don't want to go to school, do the needful, because most of the times, just as what he said, a lot of our complaints are coming in, this and that, and sometimes it's not, we don't give 100% guarantee because we are not the government. The government have the final decision. So just as what he said, you are advised to do the needful in order to secure your stay in the country.
I hope you enjoyed the interview. I pray Africa and Nigeria gets it right. Else, those who can afford to travel abroad to further their education will consider the growing online programs and other alternatives which will further weaken the educational system in Nigeria. If you have any question whatsoever, please drop it in the comment box and I will be there to answer them. Finally, I would like to thank the Prime Agency for contributing immensely to this video. My name is Zhiyun. Thank you guys for watching. See you in our next video.